Good morning, students. My dear parents and students of Max Muller Public School, I hope you are all fit and fine by the grace of God. I do expect the same from you all. My sincere advice to my dear students is that don't come out of the house unnecessarily when you have a very urgent or important work. You step out of your house to do the work and get it in the house as soon as possible the work is over or completed, because in the present situation and condition you take care of your health and pay importance for your studies, give importance to your handwriting, spellings. When you come back to your school, you must and should be thorough in your spellings. Your handwriting must and should be improved, and your spellings have to improve, students. Since September, I have been taking your classes, almost the 4 sections. Among all the nearly 200 students we have in 4 sections, I see 80% of the boys, really, their handwriting is very worse. I felt very bad. Even they are very bad in the spellings also. Only the girls write to, I'm just not appreciating the girls, but after seeing the work, I'm appreciating them. From 7th A1 to 7th A4, I see the girls writing very neatly, very nicely. Their handwriting is good. Even they don't commit the spelling mistakes. So I want the boys also to compete with your classmate girls and come up in your studies. Don't leave your ranks to only for the girls. You also work hard and just beat up the girls and achieve. So every work is achieved through your hard work and perseverance. Without hard work and perseverance, you cannot achieve anything in this life, students. So especially my special request for the boys is to study, study, and study, because your performance is very weak in studies. I have seen, noticed, observed. So after seeing all this, really I felt very, very sorry the condition of the boys in handwriting, spellings, study-wise. So boys, now you have got a golden opportunity. Make use of this. Don't try to waste your time. Don't spend your time here and there, not doing, not studying it or not going through your books. Better study and get through. So very shortly we may have your summative examination too also. So better now itself you start getting ready for that. So now all the best, students, for your I say you all the best to achieve a good result in your forthcoming examination, because your achievement only is the success for your examination. If you are lazy, if you become lazy, if you don't do the work, then you know the result. What will be your annual result? I need not tell you, you know it very well now. So now all the best, students, for my dear students, boys and girls. So now let me take your English class. So today's topic is that a very nice and a very simple poem called as Dear Grandma and Dear Grandpa. It is. And one more request from my boys, students, parents, please take care of your son at home and try to teach him. Please spend your quality time with your boys, with your child, with your son, so that even he can improve, and also they can compete with the girls in the class. So now let me start here. Poem. Already the title of the poem is written on the board. Page number is 122. Hope everybody is ready with your textbook. You have a textbook. Come and get ready with that. So when I read the poem, you are going to just observe the way I read, the way I pronounce, the way I give a pause, or the way where I stop for your exclamatory marks and your full stops. It is. Dear Grandma and dear Grandpa, when we are with you, we always have fun. You make us feel we are your special ones. We can tell by the kindness in your smiles. You recall how things look through the eyes of a child. If we really need a hug or two, we know that we can depend on you. Giving hugs is what grandparents do best, and you do it better than all the rest. Here is a secret, and it is true. Grandma and Grandpa, our hearts belong to you. So written by author unknown. Unknown means here the name of the author is not given, so it's called as an unknown it is. Now let me read the poem once. Dear Grandma and dear Grandpa, when we are with you, we always have fun. You make us feel you are a special ones. You can tell by the kindness in your smiles. You recall how things look through the eyes of a child. If we really need a hug or two, we know that we can depend on you. Giving hugs is what grandparents do best, and you do it better than all the rest. Here is a secret, and it is true. Grandma and Grandpa, our hearts belong to you. So what I said, in the beginning only I said, the poem is very simple, very easy words have been used in this poem, and also the poem is very small, very short, but it contains the matter, the content is a very heart-touching. Here it is. When we are with you, so who is saying here? Who is the speaker here? The speaker is nothing but the children are the speaker in this poem. Means who is speaking here? Who is talking to here? Means the children are speaking. Who are the children here? The grandchildren are speaking. To whom? To their dear grandparents. When we are with you, we always have fun. So what do the grandchildren says now? When we are with you, means we have lots of fun because we share our joys and sorrows with you. You are the one who stays at home. You hear our joys and sorrows very patiently, very kindly, very politely. You never get irritated. You never shout. You never scold. Especially the Bangaloreans doesn't have a time to spend with their children. Why? What is the reason? Means both of them are employed. Both of them are employed. They don't have time. They are burdened with their office work or whatever work they attend. So the extra time cannot be given for their dear son and daughters. So these daughters and the sons, where to get a special treatment, especially from their grandchildren. I beg your pardon, they get their special attention from their grandparents. It is. If you have a joint family, you know the meaning of a joint family. how the happiness is shared among you all, especially when both the parents are out to work, if grandpa is at home or if granny is at home. As soon as the child's school is left, the child immediately runs home. And then when he sees his grandpa or grandma, he goes running, he or she goes running, and they says, look, granny, look, grandpa, today the marks card is given for me. You know what marks I have scored? I have scored all A and A plus. The child wants to share its happiness immediately as soon as it reaches home or go home. When the grandparents are there, the grandparents welcome them and they and they share their happiness with the child and saying that, and they start trying to kisses them or hugs them. Oh, you have got so nice marks, so good marks. Oh, I think you have scored first rank in your class, maybe a second or third. The child will be full of emotions, anxiousness, anxiety, and curiosity to share it. As soon as the child enters the house, he or she bursts out with her emotions, actions, and curiosity, which is shared by the grandparents, those who are at home immediately. And the grandparents also welcome them in a very, very special way. So only the grandchildren says, when we are with you, we always have a fun. Yes, right from morning, evening, how much fun we make with you, or how much fun you make with us. We try to share our funs each other. You make us feel you are our special ones. So what grandpas makes, huh? Grandpas and grannies make their grandchildren special to them. They say, you are my world, you are my sweetheart, you are my dear, you are my dearest child. In such lovely words or with such emotional words, the grandpas and the grannies, they try to attract their grandchildren towards them, because this is the way where love and affection must be showered on a child. So the child starts liking you. You can tell us by the kindness in your smile. So how do the grandparents welcome their children home in the evening? With kindness, with politeness, and with the smiles in their eyes as well as in the face. You recall how things look through the eyes of a child. Now in this sentence, the poet says that you recall how things look through the eyes of a child. So our Indian granny and grandpas, when they see a granddaughter or a grandson, what do they see now? They just imagine. They imagine about their own childhood days. Oh, I was like this when I was a child. So one day their eyes starts dancing, their eyes starts giving a happiness, seeing the happiness in the eyes of their grandchildren. If we really need a hug or two, so immediately it is a habit of a grandpa and a grandma that when the grandchild does well or says something good, immediately they call him near or they go near them. They start hugging them, embracing them, and kissing them. Really, you are my dearest grandchild. We know you that you can depend on me. We know that we can depend on you. Giving hugs is what grandparents do best. So the grandparents are known for showering their love and affection on their grandchildren. And you do it better than all the rest. So for whom the children are saying here now, the grandchildren are referring for their parents, because at present the parents doesn't, especially the city people, have no extra time or a special time to give it to their sons and daughters. So now this grandchildren says that the people, really, you grandpa and grandma are the best, where you are going to treat in a special way and give the best for us, whatever we require or whatever you ask. You understand very well than our parents, and you do the best than all the rest. All the rest means that here the child is comparing to their parents. Here is a secret and it is true. So what the child says, this is the secret. It is a real fact. It is not unreal, but it is real. It says, Grandma and grandparent, our hearts belongs to you. Lastly and finally, the grandchildren says that our hearts belongs to you. The heart belongs to you means wholly and solely. We belongs to you. We need you. We want to share our happy moments of our childhood days with you. So now, when you grow old, you just in your future life, you just sit and you think or you imagine about your childhood days. Oh, we had a grandparents at home. How best treatment was given for us. We were considered to be the best in our life. Now let me tell you the summary of this poem, which you can follow it better. So this is the poem of the unknown author or a poet written for you children. It's a very short, simple, easy, which can be followed by you students. The main theme of the poem is the relationship between grandparents and grandchildren. The grandchildren says, we have fun with grandparents. They show kindness in their smile and they feel they are special with grandparents. The grandchildren sees the things in the world through the eyes of the child. You know what the author says here, what I have told you already? The grandchildren sees the things and the world through the eyes of the grandparents sees the things and the world through the eyes of a child. Means your grandparents, they imagine themselves. The grandchildren get all these things from the grandparents in the company of children. They also feel here who is going to feel happy and ignore your granny and your grandpa expresses by expressing their love and affection, and they says that when we see you, we feel that we are young, and also we feel happy, and their kind deeds and the work deeds means work, it is the grandchildren gave their heart to them. So now here the grandchildren has given a heart to them means nothing. In a same way as the grandparents react, in a similar way the reaction is shown by the grandchildren to their grandparents. It is nothing but their relationship. The grandparents and the grandchildren relationship is really unforgettable in this world. It is so better children. In future, you are going to stay very friendly and you are going to treat your grandparents with a lovable affection and love. Shower your lovable affection and show your sentiments towards your grandparents. Don't try to neglect them or don't try to harass them. Don't try to answer them rudely, harshly, or very badly, children. Your grandparents feel very, very bad, or when it touches their hearts, really they feel very bad. Hope my students are not going to behave in such a harsh, in such a rude way with their grandparents. So this is the end of your poem. This is the end of your poem where your poem is completed. Now children, you get ready with your another poem called as the Choral It Is. The heading or the title of the poem is given as a choral it is. So now I'm just writing just beside this Hope you are ready with your next poem. The title or the heading of the poem is given as a correlatives. The correlatives, written by whom? As usual, written by a English poetess. Her name is given as Eleanor Puronitis. So what she writes here now? She writes a poem about her childhood days. How was she? She had a brother. She says that when I was a young girl, or when I was a little girl, I had my brother, she says. So now she had a quarrel or she had a fight with her brother. The same incident or the same instances, the incident which has taken place in her life, she has written in a form of a poetic way. She expresses how she fights with her brother, how she fought with her brother when she was quite young or a young girl or a little girl. And both how the brother and the sister fought, and later on, within no time, they forgot their fight, they forgot their quarrel, and once again they joined or they become friendly. She expresses here her thoughts, her views and opinion here. The quarrel, I quarrel with my brother. I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was slight. The end of it was wrong. He said he was right. I knew he was wrong. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on the back and said, "Oh, come on. We don't go on all night. I was in the wrong, so he was in the right." So once again, let me read now. You follow me, students. They quarrel. I quarrel with my brother. I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was slight, the end of it was strong. He said he was right. I knew he was wrong. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. Then suddenly, my brother thumped me on the back and said, "Oh, come on. We can't go all night." I was in the wrong, so he was in the right. So once again, this poem is also written in a very simple words, in a very easy sentences. I quarrel with my brother. Here I refers to whom? It refers to the poetess. I quarrel with my brother. I don't know what about. Even the picture is given in your textbook. Hope you have seen the picture. The brother is crying. The sister is showing a finger towards his brother, towards her brother, saying that he is crying. Look, I quarrel with my brother. I don't know what about. So what here our poetess Elena says, she says that I quarreled with my brother, but I don't know what was the reason. What was the reason behind it? Without any reason, I started fighting. I started quarreling with my brother. She says, I don't know what about. Means it's a reasonless, it is. One thing led to another. Means I developed the conversation. I just kept on developing the conversation in such a way that arguments after the arguments went on for hours together. She says, one thing led to another. I said one word, the other word was given by my brother. So in this way, a conversation was developed, or talking was developed. When the conversation was developing more and more, the quarreling words were used more and more. The poetess says, one thing to led to another, and somehow we fell out. Whatever the reasonless fight went on for hours together. Somehow we fell out. We fell out means just we quarreled, and both of them became angry, and we were separated. We both of us thought that oh, we will not talk to each other. That is the meaning. We fell out. We don't want to look at each other's face. We don't want to speak to them. I don't want to smile, speak, or talk to them. The poet says, the start of it was a slight. You know what is the reason? There was no reason at all. Slight means minute, little less it was. Actually, there was no reason. Somehow it started. It started with a slight, with a little topic. That topic became a big or it became vast. We started quarreling each other. We started arguing each other. He says right, I say wrong. When I say right, he says wrong. When he says right, I say wrong. So in this way, our conversation developed, the poetess says. The end of it was wrong. Lastly and finally, what was the result of a fight? There was nothing actually. He said he was right. My brother says, I am right. I knew he was wrong. So what a poet is saying now? A poet is saying, I know very well, my brother is wrong, I am right. This is the argument she says. We hated one another. The conversation was so strong and so powerful that both of us we started saying that I hate you. I don't hate you means I don't like you. The poetess says to her brother, I don't like you, I hate you. The poet's brother says, I hate you, I don't like you. So now this is the reason where we both of us started hating each other. The afternoon turned black. You know what happened now? Our quarrel started in the morning. Now already it is afternoon. Still our problem is unsolved. Still we are quarreling for nothing but a silly or a minute mistake. The poetess says, the whole afternoon turned black. The whole afternoon was wasted by both of us, she says. Then suddenly my brother thumped on the back. Suddenly my brother, I was seated all alone in a cozy corner thinking about my brother. Oh, look at him. He's not going to budge or he's not going to bend and says that, oh, come on, sister, I am wrong. He says I am right, even I says I am right. So now who is going to lose the game or who is going to lose the battle? None of us, both of us want to win it. Then suddenly when I was seated in a cozy corner dreaming and thinking about the incident which has taken place in the house right from morning till afternoon, still the problem is unsolved. So now, then suddenly someone came and patted on my shoulders or on my back. Thumb means patting it, slightly patting on a shoulder and said, oh, come on. So who was he now? Her own dear brother, he says, come on, sis, why are you so angry? Why are you so cross with me? Come on, let us be friends. Let us forget whatever nuisance talk we have spoken to each other while quarreling. The brother says, we can't go on all night. Since morning till afternoon, we have fought bitterly each other. But now already half a day is wasted. Let us not waste a sweet night. Let us go to sleep with a sweet memories. The brother says to her sister, says to his sister, we can't go all night. So come on, shed all your arguments. Stop shedding your tears. Stop being cross to me. Come on, let us make a friendship. Let us be friends now. Let us sleep together. Let us sleep with a happy mood. Let us not spoil our sleep, the brother says. I was wrong. Lastly and finally, the poor brother, he apologizes and says that really I was wrong. I am sorry, my dear sister. Come on, excuse me. Come on, pardon me, he says. So he was in the right. So in the end, our poetess says that whatever it is, I made my brother to ask sorry, to pardon himself. Lastly and finally, my dear brother, my sweet brother, my lovely brother, my lovable brother, He says, sorry dear, come on, let us have a friendship, he says. Now let me tell you the summary of this poem in a very simple and a short way it is. This is the first narrative poem. The poetess as a child quarreled with her brother. In the childhood, quarrel is quite common between brothers and sisters and with playmates. Playmates means a neighboring house. And with classmates also. I see among you, especially the 7th standard, boys and girls quarreling for no reason at all, getting so many complaints for the teachers, ma'am, every second. This is quite common between this age, a poetess Elena says. And even they do not know why they are quarreling. Without knowing, even in the classroom also, without knowing, a student starts quarreling. It is during quarrel, both of the brother and the sister quarreled a lot, and then the quarrel is for small. They quarrel for a small thing. Both don't know. They did not compromise. They did not agree for each other. Her brother was right. The poetess believed he was wrong. Both hated each other, wasted the whole afternoon, and after some time, the brother, he comes and makes a friendship with her sister, and he says that it was now he was right. So the poetess says the brother accepted his fault or mistake, and then he says that I was wrong, please excuse me or please pardon me. So their quarrel was temporary, or their quarrel was only for the time being. They forgot for what they quarreled, and very easily they became friends. Even in a classroom, also we see that most of the boys and the girls quarrel for unnecessary things. Again, within no time, they become friends. So like you, even a poetess here has written her memory, her childhood days memory. It is written in a poetic form for you all. It is. So this is the end of a poem, children. It is. Now you can get ready for the next class. It is. Now you see the time charge. It is 1 hour.